How's everybody doing?
Doing well. Coach, thanks for your time.
Yeah,
Jeremiah,
no,
kick us off.
Good morning, Coach. Minnesota's a team that, obviously running the ball is, chief in their identity. What will it take specifically to really disrupt their running game and what they have going on back there?
I think it'll be a concerted effort by everybody on the defense, uh, being physical, setting edges, getting downhill, playing complementary football, by our offense as well. Um, because I've had some experience with certain offenses like that. It takes everybody, not just defensively, but our offense, which has been doing an outstanding job running the ball. But we're going to have to be physical, set edges, and attack and be aggressive.
And just going off of that real quick, App State did kind of have some success. They're also another team that, running the balls a lot in their identity, specifically with Nate Noel being back there. What are some things that you guys are going to kind of look to take from that game to, kind of clean up and, in preparation for Minnesota?
I think, styles make fights, obviously. And App has a style that can give people some problems. But what it did was help us see where we needed to shore some things up, uh, where we needed to, you know, be more gap sound or set edges and what have you. And I think by doing that and being able to gut the win out and still improve from that was a huge bonus for us.
Luciano?
Thanks for your time, Coach. Hope you're doing well. Through two
Yep.
games, you already have more than half of last season's sacks and more than a third of last season's tackles for loss. What has been the key to this massive improvement in productivity?
I think concerted effort by everyone. I think that health has been a big part of it. I think and the number one thing is those guys are working their butts off. You know, um, like I said, styles make fights. So against South Carolina, they started trying to drop back. We were able to kind of pop our collars a little bit and go get after it. But I think it's just work by everybody, that not only the players, the staff, and I just heard you talking to Big Spence about the off-season program. Guys are stronger and developing and maturing, and sometimes those things come in bunches. Now obviously I'd like to get 9 every single game. You know what I mean? But maybe they don't come in that much of a bunch. But we'll keep grinding at it.
Andrew?
Hey, Coach, how much has Ted Monachino helped you since he arrived last winter? And in what areas has he helped you?
Number one, he's been a great help. He's a great sounding board. He has a wealth of experience. And sometimes it's just, lending an ear to what I may be thinking. Like, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? Well, we're talking about a guy who's been very successful at the NFL level, relates very well to players and communicates well. So he's been an outstanding addition for us, as has Cam Spence, the young man that works with us. I just think it's been all hands on deck, and the kids are buying into it. So, yeah, Ted's been great. Love him.
As far as Des Evans goes, I think Gene said the other day that may have been the best all-around game he's played, with the skill and the physicality being combined the other night. What is the number one thing you could point to why Dez's game has taken a step up?
He's relentless in everything he does as far as on the field. And I think that he was coming into his own last year before he got hurt. Because when he got there, he hadn't put his hand down in the dirt, for 2 years. And now, and he's always been tough in the run game. But now he's taking that length, that drive, and he's putting it all together. And he's really playing well.
Thank you.
Naya?
Hi, Coach Cross. How are you?
Wonderful. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I just wanted to ask, kind of get more insight into your sentiments, kind of playing Minnesota and also with kind of Chris Collins being on the team. Obviously, you've worked with him a lot over the years. So kind of how do you feel going into this game and facing him as well, just facing the whole team?
As far as facing the whole team, I'm Tar Heel through and through, so I don't have any kind of sentimental value towards them. Now, my daughter, who was born there, she might be. I might have to kick her out of the house for a week or so. My youngest daughter, but it's a great chance to play them. Great challenge, Big Ten football. Had a fun time there. Other than when it was freezing, which was quite a bit. It was quite a bit. But and as far as Chris Collins, I look forward to seeing him. Love him. He was a great kid here. I hope we run over him, 15 to 20 times, and get after him a little bit. But no, it'll be good to see him. It'll be a wonderful experience playing Minnesota after coaching there for a while, and it'll be a great challenge for us.
Thank you.
Adam?
Hey, Tim.
Hey.
I was going to ask you if you still had any Minnesota gear. I know it's been, 12, 13 years maybe.
You know what? I don't think I do. If I do, it's packed away somewhere deep.
Well, I know you'll take 9 sacks every game. I think you guys will be all right if you get 9 every game. Just, when we were talking to the guys that night in Charlotte after the South Carolina game, and I know it's one game. I know there's a journey ahead here, but it was unmistakable sort of the satisfaction in that moment that they had after
Right.
some of the things that they've been through and some of the things that have been said about them.
Right.
What did you take just in that moment? What sort of pride did you have? What was sort of stuck out to you as maybe the most satisfying or the thing that resonated the most just that night?
I think for me, because I always believe in those guys, because I'm with them every day and I see how hard they work. So really, my joy was when everybody was celebrating, I just took a step back and just watched them enjoy the moment together and be happy for each other. That was, to me, that was the biggest take. Like, keep grinding and keep banging on that ketchup bottle, and sooner or later it'll open up and pour for you. And I think that was my biggest takeaway from it. I really loved watching them enjoy each other and enjoy the fruits of their labor.
Just to follow up real quick, it seems like a lot of guys have made improvements. They have come back this camp and this preseason and are better. Like, is that, can you point to a couple dudes, or maybe, that you've really seen like market improvement from up front?
I think Dez, Bo Atkinson has made a huge jump. Tamari Fox being back, Murph being healthy, Big Scoob, Kevin Hester continues a continual steady grind, improving. I think, Ritzy's back inside where he needs to be. There's just a lot of guys that, and I said a long time ago, Travis continues to get better. But guys are going to develop at different times, and all those guys kind of came in at the same time young, with really not a whole lot of mentors to look to. So now they're growing up and developing at a different pace, each one of them, but they're developing every single day, both on and off the field, and I think it's starting to show up.
Luciano?
To follow up on that, I was going to ask you about what have you seen from Travis Shaw so far, and in what ways do you think he has improved?
I think he has really gotten better with his technique. He's gotten his body into a lot better shape. He looks great. And just understanding the game, you got to think, like, some of these guys were high school all-world, and they could go out there and you could just say, hey, sick them and do whatever you want to do. And now with playing within the team structure, we got to be able to use that ability that they have, but within the framework of what we're doing. He has a great football IQ. He has the potential to be an amazing leader. Like, his charisma, when he gets guys going, can really get guys going, but he's still maturing. He's still continuing to work on his body. I think his hands have gotten better, and he's going to be good.
Thanks, Coach.
Michael?
Hey there, Coach. Going back to one of the earlier questions about your days with Minnesota, do you still have, I mean, I know they've gone through a lot of changes since 2010 when you last coached there, but do you still have connections in that area? And have you heard from them this week at all? Just sort of, good natured trash talk about the game?
I have a couple guys that I coached that still live up there. But as far as on the team or on that staff, it's like you said, it's been through a couple of changes. But I got fond memories up there. We lived in Woodbury. That's the first time I had ever been to a Wegmans, right? And so when I went in there and the Wegmans up there, the dude was in there like making omelets and singing. Like soon as you walk in the door, it was the craziest thing I've ever seen. But it was I loved living there. Great P. They always talk about Minnesota nice. I'll give you a quick story. So when I got there from Texas, right, I had on like loafers, no socks. You know what I mean? Come out and there's 9 feet of snow in my driveway. So I grabbed my son. I'm like, bro, we got to go shovel this walk. I don't need a snow blower. I got a son. Well, I found out after about 10 minutes, a son ain't enough up there, brother. So I go back in the house, like I literally am sweating, heart racing, like I just ran a marathon. And I look back outside I'm like, hey, bro, you ready to go back out? Let's go try to, and we literally had went maybe a foot. That's how deep the snow was. I look out my window, and I lived in a cul-de-sac, and my neighbor had took a snowblower and did my whole driveway and sidewalk, right? So I look out the window. I immediately, and so this is why I don't have all that gear you were talking about. I immediately run upstairs, grab as much Minnesota gear as I can, take it to my next door neighbor, like, hey, man, thank you. Never shoveled snow another day in my whole career when I was there. Every snowfall, it was knocked out. So that gear came in handy.
That's great, Coach. Thanks. We have a Wegmans down here now. I don't know if you've been to the new one in Chapel Hill.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I went over there the other day. I went over there and trust. It's a good one, too.
You can take you out of Minnesota, but they can't take the Minnesota out of you, right?
There you go. There you go.
Thanks, Coach.
Jeremiah.
Yeah, that might be quote of the day. I don't need a snowblower. I have a son. That's pretty funny. I wanted to ask you about Amari Gaynor. Just what kind of impact has he had in that jack position so far, especially the game against South Carolina? He had a couple of sacks, but just what have you seen from him in the way that he's been in addition to the line so far?
Very conscientious young man, great kid, physical, and he's learning a new position too. Because at Florida State he played inside backer, but he's added some speed to our edges, and which has really been a bonus for us. He's doing a great job, and when you get him and Dez and Ruck and Bo and a bunch of those guys, and now you can come at him in waves, it's really beneficial for the whole team. But he's doing a great job.
All right, last couple for Coach. Tommy?
Coach, appreciate it. I have a couple sons. They'll do anything you want for all the swag. So a little opposite. I don't know about snow, though.
Right.
But
I ain't got no snow, but I got some grass that needs to be cut every now and again. So,
Well, we'll see what we can do.
All right, let me know, brother.
I wanted to ask you about Tamari Fox. This is a guy that last year got caught in NCAA web that we've heard so much about lately, but he practiced all year and he came out this year, at least when we first saw him, like a new guy, body built, different. Just sort of speak to that and that influence he's had on other guys on that defensive line.
I think, first of all, it shows those guys that the resolve and perseverance that you need to be successful, because he went from being a starter to sitting out all year and went to the scout team every single day. Every single day. He led in the weight room in the offseason. And so when he came, he was already strong, but now he has like crazy strength. His energy is high. He's violent. He's physical. But I just think showing those guys, being an example to those guys of, hey, something bad happens, I can either fold up and quit, or I can, take the lead and go full steam ahead. So I'm super proud of him. He's shown some great leadership in the room, not only in speaking to guys and helping young guys, but also by example. It is great to have him back, and he's doing a great job.
Appreciate it, Coach.
All right, last one, Adam.
Tim, I was going to ask you about Rucker. He seems like he's, he might be playing the best of anybody on defense. I know Ced's tough to top sometimes, but how far do you think Cayman can take it this season? I mean, it through 2 games, it looks like he's on another level. How good do you think this guy can be?
Well, here's the thing. Whatever I say about Ruck, he's going to go higher than that. You know what I mean? Like, whatever ceiling you put on him, he's going to try to punch a hole through it. He is all out every day, and it started from day one, not having a lot of offers.
Right.
He's one of the ones where you got to like, hey, bro, now we're not in pads today. Slow it down a little bit, but those are the ones you want. I think the sky's the limit for him. Sky's the limit for him. He's twitchy, he's physical, he's strong, he's smart, he cares. I wouldn't dare put a ceiling on how high or how good he can be this year.
Thank you, Tim. Always good, bud.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, Coach.
Good. All right, fellas, have a good day.
Thank you, Coach.